Hello everyone, welcome to my class. And today we are going to solve Feb March 2024 0580 extended paper 4.2. So in the previous session we did paper 2.2 extended. Okay, let's see. So your first question is, a grocer sells potatoes, mushrooms and carrots. A customer buys 3 kg of mushrooms at $1.04 per kg and 4 kg of carrots at $1.28 per kg. Calculate the total cost. So this one is easier, right? So it will be 3 times 1.04 plus 4 times 1.28, and that will give you can directly input in the calculator and you will get the answer as 8.24. Yeah, so this is important to write step, as this is 2 marker. You must show this step, then you have to write this and then write the final answer here. Yeah, next, in 1 week, the ratio of the masses of vegetables sold by the grocer is potatoes is to mushrooms is to carrots is 11 is to 8 is to 6. Work out the mass of mushrooms sold as a percentage of the total mass. Okay, so let's see. Potato, mushroom, carrot, this is 11, 8 and 6, right? And then we can see that total part will be 11 plus 8 plus 6. So that is 25. Now your question is, work out the mass of mushrooms sold as percentage of the total mass, right? So mass of mushroom will be uh, so the part for mushroom is 8. Okay, so it will be 8 over total parts, that is 25. Since this is asking in percentage, so you have to multiply with 100 and hence you get 32%. Okay, yeah. Now the total mass of potatoes, mushroom and carrots sold is 1500 kilogram. Find the mass of carrots the grocer sells this week. Okay, so what is the part of carrots? It is 6 parts. 6 parts out of 25, and grocer sold 1500 kg of the total. Okay, so we have to find 6 upon 25 of 1500 kgs, right? So directly input in your calculator and here you will get the answer as 360. Yeah, now let's go to the next one. The profit the grocer makes selling 1 kg of carrots is 0.75. Find the total profit the grocer makes selling the carrots this week. Okay, so grocer has sold 360 kgs of carrots. So we will do 360 times 0.75 and that will give you 270. I hope this is clear. Okay, now on the last day of the week, the grocer reduces the price of 1 kg of potatoes by 8% to $1.15. Calculate the original price of 1 kg of potatoes. Okay, so this is the price. 1.15 is the price after 8% reduction. Okay, this is not your original price, this is after 8% reduction. Okay, so original price will, we will say it as 100%. So 100 minus 8%, that will be your 92%, right? So you can say that 1.15 is 92% of the original price. So let's say, let the original price be x. So I can write it this way: 92% of x is 1.15. I hope this is clear. So you can write it 92 over 100 times x equals 1.115. And then you can solve it further. X equals 1.15 times 100 over 92. Okay, and then this one will give you input in your calculator and you will get 1.25. So this was the original price. Now let's see the next question. The grocer buys 620 kg of onions, correct to the nearest 20 kilogram. Okay, so this is all about bound. You should know whenever they say nearest, it is rounded. So this is about the bound. Then he packs them into bags, each containing 5 kg of onions, correct to 1 kilogram. Okay. Now your question is calculate the upper bound for the number of bags of onions that he packs. Okay, so understand it. Uh, the total weight of the onions is 620 kg. Okay, and we have to find the number of bags when he is packing 5 kg onions in one bag. So you know that this is number of bags. One moment. Yeah. So number of bags is the total mass upon the quantity of onion in one bag, so it will be 620 over 5. Okay, now your question is calculate the upper bound for the number of bags. So here you have to be careful, since it is asking for upper bound. So number of bags, upper bound will be 620 kgs upper bound here, and then divided by 5 kg lower bound here. So you should know now what should be done for the 620 kg upper bound. Okay, so 620 kg, since it is rounded to nearest 20 kg. Okay, so the upper bound will be, see, half of 20 is 10, so we will take 10 kg. That will be upper bound will be 620 plus 10, that is 630 kgs, right? And then when you look at 5 kg, this is correct to nearest 1 kg, and half of 1 kg is half only. Yeah, so you can say it is zero point 0.5. So for 5 kg, and we are looking for the lower bound, right? So lower bound of 5 kg will be 5 minus zero point 0.5, that we can write it as 4.5 kg. I hope this is clear. This is one of the most important step here, so you should not be doing any mistake here. So 630 over 4.5, and then directly you get the answer as 140 bags, right? So we write here 140 bags. I hope this is clear to everyone. Yeah. Let's move to next question. Hmm. Okay. So this question is A, B, C, D are points on a circle. Okay. So A, B, C, D are points on a circle. ADX and BCX are straight line. ADX and BCX are straight lines. Now, angle BAD is equal to x degrees, BAD, okay, and angle DCX is equal to y. DCX equals y. Now, the question is explain why x is equal to y. Give a geometrical reason for each statement you make. Okay. Okay, so x is equal to y, I can say there is a rule. There is a rule, and we will solve it other way. That which states that each exterior angle of a cyclic quadrilateral is equal to the interior angle opposite to it. Interior angle opposite to it. Okay, so let's see what is written here. So the question is why this angle x is equal to this angle y. So as per the rule, each exterior angle f of a cyclic quadrilateral. So you see this y is exterior angle of cyclic quadrilateral ABCD. Okay, is equal to the interior angle opposite to it. Obviously this is the interior angle opposite to it, so they are equal. Now we can do it another way. So let's see. Hmm. So I can say angle DAB plus angle DCB, this should be equal to 180 degree, as sum of the opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral is 180 degree. And then we can write DAB as x, okay, x plus angle DCB is equal to 180 degree. Hmm. Then which will say that, so I will write this as x is equal to 180 degree minus angle DCB. I hope this is clear to everyone. Okay. Some, as it says that give reason for each statement, sum of opposite angles in cyclic quadrilateral is 180 degree. Yeah. So we got this. And now you see, I will write another one. Angle Y plus angle DCB. Angle DCB is equal to 180 degree. Same reason, sum of opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral is 180 degree. Okay. Now you can say angle DCB is equal to 180 degree minus y. Oh, I'm sorry, we have to write y equals to, I have to write in that way. So I'll say y equals 180 degree minus angle DCB. So you can see that x is 180 degree minus DCB and y is also 180 minus DCB. So it's equal, the same. So I can write this as equation 1 and this one as 2. So we can say from 1 and 2, angle x is equal to angle y. I hope this is clear to everyone. Let's see the next question. Show that triangle ABX is similar to triangle CDX. Okay, let's see. Triangle ABX, ABX and CDX. Okay, I'll draw it here. So it is something like this. Hmm. A, okay, this line was there. ADX, and here we have BC. So your question is, show that ABX is similar to CDX. Okay. Now, mm, okay. Now you can say that. Okay. Let me draw that circle also. Otherwise, it will be confusing actually. So, hmm, I'll redraw this by the way. No issues. Hmm. So this is the circle, and then we have it like this. Yes, and then it is like this, and this is A, this is D, this is X, this is B, and this is C. Now we can say that XDC equals angle ABC. Okay, so angle XDC equals angle XBA, this one and this one. Okay, so angle XBA, as the rule is exterior angle of cyclic quadrilateral is equal to opposite interior angle. Okay, following that rule, they are equal. Now we can say that XCD is equal to XAB for the same reason. So angle XCD is equal to angle XAB for the same reason. Okay, and then you see that both the triangles have this angle as common. AXB is the common. So angle AXB is common. Okay, so now just now we proved for this triangle XCD and triangle XAB. See, angle D is equal to angle B, angle C is equal to angle A. So we have proved two angles equal, and then this third angle is common for both of them. That's why they are similar. Therefore, triangle ABX is similar to triangle CDX. I hope this is clear to everyone. Let's move to next question. Okay, again. Now again this is on the similarity concept. AD is equal to 15, DX is equal to 9, CX is equal to 12. Find BC. Okay, so let's do this. Let me draw the triangle down. Just we need triangle. Okay, then this is A, B, X, and this was B, this is C, and let me write. Okay, so here it says AD is equal to 15 centimeter, DX is equal to 9 centimeter, CX is equal to 12 centimeter, and you have to find BC. Okay, so if you follow the similarity rule of triangles, then we can say dx upon ax. See, dx upon ax equals cx upon bx, right? And we have to figure it out, this bc. So I will write it this way. Ax is AD plus DX, that is 15 plus 9, 24. Okay, I'll write it like this. 15 plus 9 upon, oh, I'm sorry, this one should be, this is DX. So your DX is 9 over 15 plus 9 equals CX is 12, and this BX we have to write in this way, BC plus 12. I hope this is clear to everyone. Okay, now we can do just cross multiplication, and then you see 9 times BC plus 12 equals, this is 24 times 12. Okay, so 24 times 12, and then we can say BC plus 12 equals 24 times 12 over 9. Okay, so let's continue here. So I'll write BC equals, this one we can say 3 3 is 9, 3 8 is 24, and then 3 4 is 12. So this is 32. Okay, so you get here 32 minus 12, and BC is equal to 20. I hope this is clear to everyone. Yeah. Now let's go to the next one. This says complete the statement. Okay. Now the ratio of area of triangle ABX is to area of triangle CDX. Okay, we have to figure it out. Okay, so one thing, if you remember about the similar triangles, the ratio of, suppose I write it like this, area of triangle ABX and area of triangle, what is that, CDX. This is the ratios of the areas of similar triangle is always equal to the square of the length of the side. Okay, so it is the L1 over L2 ka whole square. So we can write it this way. So length 1, okay, I remember here it is 15 plus 9, 12, 24, and another one we will take as 12. So it will be 24 over 12 and whole squared. So you get this as 2 over 1 whole square, that is nothing but 4 over 1, and we can say that it is 4 is to 1. The ratio of the areas of triangle is 4 is to 1. I hope this is clear. Okay, let's move to next question. The table shows information about the marks gained by each of 10 students in a test. Okay, so mark. Okay, your question is calculate the range. So this is very simple one. You know that what is range? Range is highest value minus least value. So follow this and then you get highest value is 20 here and the least value is 15. So you write 20 minus 15, that is equal to 5. Simple. Now the next question is calculate the mean. Okay. So this is also very straight question. So you just multiply them, add them. So it will be 15 times 4 plus 16 times 1 plus 17 times 2 plus 18 times 1 plus 19 times 0 plus 20 times 2 over the sum of these. So this will be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, now I will put all of this in calculator and then we get it as 168 over 10, that is 16.8. Okay, so you get the answer as 16.8. Okay, now the next question is find the median. Hmm. Okay, so what is the frequency here? That is an even number, right? So hmm, so I hope you remember when this is even number. So 10, half of 10 is 2. Sorry, half of 10 is 5. So we have to find the fifth and the sixth term. So it will be like fifth term plus sixth term divided by 2. So let's see what is fifth and sixth term. Okay, so you see here 4, here is your fifth term. Okay, and then sixth term is here, sixth and seventh term both are here. So we need fifth and sixth term. So your fifth term is 16, sixth term is 17 over 2. So that will be 33 over 2, and we can write this as 16.5. So your median is 16.5 here. Okay. Now the next question, write down the mode. So what is mode? Mode is the highest frequency what we get here. So you get highest frequency here. So that is for 15. Okay. So we will write 15. Mode is 15 here. I hope this is clear. Okay. Now, the next question is Paulo's mean marks for 7 homework tasks is 17. After completing the 8th task, his mean mark is 17.5. Calculate Paulo's mark for the 8th task. Okay, so we can find the total of the marks for 7 task and 8th task, and then we can subtract them. Okay, so mean marks for 7 tasks is 17. Okay, therefore the total marks will be 17 times 7, that will be 119, and mean marks for 8 tasks is 17.5. Therefore total marks is equal to 17.5 times 8, that is 140. Now to get, see, this is total for 7 tasks and this is total for 8 tasks. So To get what is the value of eighth task, you must subtract them. So therefore, marks for eighth task equals 140 minus 119, and that is 21. I hope this is clear to everyone. So you write here 21. Let's go to next question. Okay. Now the table shows the percentage scored by each of 100 student in their final exam. So 0 to 30 is 12, 30 to 50 is 18, and 50 to 68 is 35, 60 to 78 is 20, 70 to 100 it is 15. Okay. Hmm. So let's work on this. On the grid, draw histogram to show this information. Now you have to understand, to draw the histogram we need, okay, it's already written here, you need frequency density and then percentage, that is given here already. So frequency density, so what is the rule for frequency density? You know, frequency density is frequency upon class width. So we will calculate frequency density here for each interval. Now, okay, yeah, so this is your frequency density, and now we can do this. Here frequency is 12 over class width is 30 minus 0, that will be 30, and that will give you zero point 0.4. Then here it is 18 over 50 minus 30, that is 20, that will give you zero point 0.9. And here 35 over 60 minus 50, that is 10, that will give you 3.5. And then 20 over 70 minus 60 is 10 again, and then you have 2 here, and then you get 15 over 100 minus 70, that is 30. So that will be 15, this is 15 over 30, that is 1 upon 2, that will be zero point 0.5. Okay. So I hope this much is clear how to calculate the frequency density, and now we can plot it. So here is the frequency density, and for 0 to 30 it is zero point 0.4. So 0 to where is 30 now? Okay, let me mark 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be your 30. This is 41, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is your 50. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is your 70, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 90. Okay. Now it is 0 to 30.4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here is zero point 0.4. Okay. So we can draw it this way. Hmm. You can do precisely with scale. Then you have 30 to 50 is zero point 0.9. Okay, let's see where is zero point 0.9. This will be your zero point 0.9. Okay, so 30 to 50, this is, so you can use your scale to draw precisely, and 30 to 50 this is. Okay, so we go like this, and we are done. And then you have 50 to 60 as 3.5. So where is 3.5? And that to 50 to 60. Okay. So 3.5. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is your 3.5. And this is for mm, 50 to 60. So let's go there. One moment. Hmm. Okay, and then it should go till 60. Yeah, so this is your 3.54. You must use scale for this because it has to be precise. Okay, so this is not looking that good, but let me do it little more better. Hmm. And then 60 to 70 is 2, and here is 2 for 60 to 70. So this is your 70. Okay, one moment. Okay, after that we have 70 to 100, that is point 0.5. So obviously this is point 0.5 here. So here is your point 0.5, and okay, so that calls for 70 to 100. So we will go until the end. Yeah, and that's it. You are done with your histogram. Make sure to use your scale. Hmm. Yeah. Now let's see the next part of this. Okay, so we have a new question here. And your question is, the diagram shows a pyramid with a square base BCDE. Okay. The diagonal CE and BD intersects at M here. Very good. And the vertex F is directly above M. So this is the height of the pyramid. Okay. BE equals 12. Uh-huh. BE equals 12 and FM is 9. The height of the pyramid is 9. Okay, since this is a square base, so all the sides are equal. Now your question is, calculate the volume of the pyramid. Okay, so the formula is given over here. The volume of the pyramid is with the base area A. So B is 1 upon 3 A times H. So this is easy. B is equal to 1 upon 3 A times H. So base area will be area of square. So this is times 12 times 12 times 9. Okay. So you will get your answer as 432 centimeter cubed. Okay. So you can write it here 432. Now next question is, calculate the total surface area of the pyramid. Oh, no, okay. So this is total surface area. Okay, so if this is about total surface area, so that calls for the area of the square plus this lateral surface area, right? Yeah. So the lateral surface area will be the 4 times area of each triangle. Okay. So let me write total surface area is equal to area of base, that is square, plus lateral surface area. Hmm? Okay. Now your area of square will be 12 square. Yeah, and now this is 4 times lateral surface area because 4 similar triangles are there. Okay, so now how to do this? How do we find the area of this triangle? Hmm. Hmm. Let's see here. Okay. Now, okay, for area of triangle, either it should be a right triangle or we should have the height, but both the things are not there. We don't have angles, all the angle measurement, so that, or we don't have sufficient sides also. Okay, okay, to find the area. Okay, what we can do is we should find the height of this triangle. Okay, so here this height is given already, so we make use of this, and then okay, huh? Okay, so if I draw one straight line like this, okay, So this will be connecting the half the way, and then I draw like this. So this will be the height of this triangle. Okay, now so you have here 9 centimeter. Okay, so since this is the midpoint, it's already given, so this is 6 centimeter. Okay, so this one will be 6 centimeter. So we have here 9, we have here 6, and this length, let me write this as x. Fx is the height of the triangle. Okay, I'll take it here now like this. We have m, we have we have f, we have m, we have x here, and this will be the height, and this is 9, this is 6. Okay, so fx, we can say, is under root of square of 981 plus 36, and that will be uh, 10.82. So this is your height of the triangle, right? So we can do it here. So half, and then the base is 12, we know that, times 10.82. Okay, so you can solve it. Now it will be 144 plus 259.68. Okay, and hence you get 403.68, which is approximately equal to 404. Okay, so you can write here 404. I hope this is clear. Next, now the question is, the diagram shows a toy made from a cone and a hemisphere. The base radius of the cone and the radius of the hemisphere are both r. Okay, this one. Then the slant height of the cone is 3r. This is the slant height. The total surface area of the toy is 304 centimeter square. Okay. Mhm. Calculate the value of r. Okay. So when it says total surface area, so that calls for uh, the curved surface area of the cone and the curved surface area of the hemisphere, right? So your total surface area is curved surface area of cone plus curved surface area of hemisphere. So, and this is given as 304. So let's write this. So curved surface area of cone is pi r l. L is the slant height. So 304 equals, you can say it is pi, one moment, is pi r, and L is 3r times 3r. Then you can say plus, okay, so here it is given the curved surface area of hemisphere, that is 4 pi r square. Sorry, a curved surface area of sphere is given as 4 pi r square, whereas we have a hemisphere. So curved surface area of hemisphere will be 4 pi square divided by 2, that is 2 pi r square. Okay, so we will write here 2 pi r square. So this is also squared, so we have total 5 pi r square. Okay, so now we can solve this. 5 pi r square equals 304, and then r square equals 304 over 5 pi. Okay, and then r equals 304 over 5 pi. So this will, just put in your calculator and you will get it something like 4.3992. So we can say this is, radius is approximately equal to 4.40. Okay, so write it here, 4.40. One second. Yeah. Now, now the next question is factorize. X square minus x minus 12. So you know this is nothing but split the middle term. So your since this is minus 12 and b is minus 1, so your number pair will be minus 4 and 3. So let's substitute it here. X square minus 4x plus 3x minus 12, and hence you have x minus 4 plus 3x minus 4, and now take the common out, that is x minus 4, and then you have x plus 3 left here. So your answer is x minus 4 times x plus 3. Done. Now, the next one is simplify x square minus 16 over x square minus x minus 12. So, x square minus x minus 12 is already written over here, x minus 4 and x plus 3. And you know that x square minus 16, that is x plus 4 and x minus 4. Hmm? I hope you are aware about the rule a square minus b square is a plus b and a minus b. So we write this in that form, x square minus 4 square, and hence we get here. So let's substitute it here, x minus 4 x plus 4 over x minus 4 and x plus 3. Okay, so this get cancelled and we are left with x plus 4 over x plus 3. So I'll write it here. Your answer is x plus 4 over x plus 3. Yeah, let's go to the next one. Simplify 2x minus 3 whole square minus x plus 1 whole square. Okay, so we have to, yeah, we need to expand them. So you know a minus b whole square, following that we have 4x square minus 2ab, so that will give you 12x plus b square will give you 9 minus a square plus 2ab will give you 2x plus b square, that is 1. Now we open the brackets, 4x square minus 12x plus 9 minus x squared minus 2x minus 1, and hence you get 3x squared minus 14x plus 8. I hope this is clear to everyone. 3x square minus 14x plus 8. Now let's go to the next one. Write as a single fraction in its simplest form. Okay, so we need to subtract. So 2x plus 4 over x plus 1 times x minus 3 over x minus 3 minus x over x minus 3 times x plus 1 over x plus 1. Okay, so we will do this now. Hmm? So you will have, I'll multiply 2x times x will be 2x square, and then 2x times minus 3 is minus 6x, plus 4 and x will be plus 4x, and here you get minus 12 over x plus 1 and x minus 3, and this one we can write x square plus x upon x minus 3 and x plus 1. Okay, now I'll write it this way, 2x square minus 6x plus 4x, actually we can add them, wait, yeah. So minus 6x plus 4x will give you minus 2x minus 12, and now minus x square, and then we write minus x. Be careful about the signs here. Then x minus 3 times x plus 1, and then okay, let's simplify it little more. 2x square minus x square is x square, minus 2x minus x is minus 3x, and here you have minus 12 over x minus 3 and x plus 1. Okay, I think we are done. That's it. Okay, so this is calling for a single fraction, so we can write it this way. So let this be your answer: x square minus 3x minus 12 over x minus 3 and x plus 1. I hope this is clear to everyone. Let's move to next question. Expand and simplify. X minus 3, x minus 5 and 2x plus 1. Okay, so I will go like this. First I will multiply these two, and x minus 3 I will write here. X times 2x is 2x square, x times 1 is plus x minus 10x minus 5. Okay. Did I do everything? X square. Okay, yeah. Now multiply with this term. X times 2x square is 2x cube plus x square minus 10x square and minus 5x. Then minus 6x square minus 3x plus 30x plus 15. Now 2x cube will be as it is, and then x squared here, x squared here. So this is minus 16x squared plus x squared, that will give you minus 15x squared, and then minus 5x, uh, minus 3x, that will make minus 8x. Minus 8x plus 30x will give you plus 22x, and then finally you have plus 15. So this is your answer: 2x cube minus 15x square plus 22x plus 15. I hope this is clear to everyone. Okay, now the next question is solve the simultaneous equation. Okay, so look here, x minus 3y equals 13, 2x square minus 9y is equal to 116. Okay, so this, let me mark this as 1, let me mark this one as 2. So we can solve this by substitution only. So from 1 you get x equals 13 plus 3y. Okay, now substitute x equals 13 plus 3y in equation 2. Okay, then we write this as 2 times 13 plus 13y, because we are writing this in place of x, whole squared minus 9y equals 116. So let's expand this. This will be a squared, that is 169 plus 2ab, 13 6 is 78y plus 9y squared minus 9y equals 116, and then we can multiply this. So you get here 338 plus, mm, yeah, correct, plus 156y plus 18y squared, and then we have minus 9y equals 116. So we can write this, uh, 18 y squared, and then this one, 156 minus 9, that will give you 147y, and then plus 338, we bring 116 here, equals 0. So we get our equation as 18y squared plus 147y plus 222. Okay, now we need to simplify this. Okay, so that we get the values of y. Okay, so hmm, okay, so your number pair here will be 18y square and plus 36y plus 111y plus 222, that is equal to 0. So we take out the common. So 18y out, and then you are left with y plus 2. And here plus what we can take common here, 111 of course, and then we are left with y plus 2, that equal to 0. So we have now y plus 2 and 18y plus 111, that is equal to 0. Okay, so 18 okay, one moment. So we got here okay, so we got two factors, 11 plus 2, and another one was 18y plus 111 equals 0. So here we get y plus 2 equals 0, that will give you y is equal to minus 2, and 18y plus 111 equals 0, that will give you um y is equal to minus 111 over 8. I hope this much is clear. 18, I'm sorry, this has to be 18. This can be further reduced, actually it will become minus 37 over 6. Okay, now we have two values of y, and with the help of these two values of y we can find the values of x. So when y is equal to 2, and this side I can do when y is equal to minus 37 over 6. So let me write the equation. uh, X, we have x is equal to 13 plus 3 times y. Here also same thing, 13 plus 3 times y. We substitute the values of y. X equals 13 plus 3 into 2, 3 into 2, and here 13 plus 3 times minus 37 over 6. Okay, so you get here, this was minus 2 na, minus 2, and I have written here 2, so that will make the whole thing wrong. So let's write it correct. This is minus 2, minus 2, and then we do 13 minus 6, so x is equal to 7, and here you have 13 minus ये 2 हो जाएगा, this one will become 2, and then you have 37 over 2. So when we solve this we get minus 11 over 2. So be careful when writing the answer. When x is 7, your y is minus 2. When x is minus 11 over 2, y is minus 37 over 6. Yeah, this was a bit lengthy, but 6 marker. Now, the diagram shows triangle ABC with AB is equal to 17.2, angle ABC is equals 54 degree, and angle ACB is equal to 68 degree. Calculate AC. So this is your AC. Hmm? Okay. So we have to find this length. Okay. When this angle is given, we have this length, we have this length. We have to find this thing. Okay. Hmm. So this one is easier. Go for the sine rule. So using sine rule, we can say 17.2 over sine 68 equals AC over sine 54. I hope this is clear to everyone. And hence you get here AC sine 68 degrees equals 17.2 times sine 54, and then AC equals 17.2 times sine 54 over sine 68 degrees. Okay, substitute everything in the calculator and you will get 15 centimeter. Yeah, so we write here. So one part is done, this is 15 centimeter. Okay, now let's see the next part. M lies on BC, yes, it's here, and MC is equal to 12.8. Calculate AM. Calculate AM. A to M. Okay. Mm-hmm. So to calculate this AM, you see we have this length, we have this length, and we have just one angle. So if you recall, this is about cosine rule. Okay, so based on this AMC, and we have to find AM. Mm-mm. So AMC, and this is the thing in question, and here this thing is 12.8 centimeter, and this length is 15 centimeter, and this one is uh one sec, I guess 63 it is. No, this is 68. Okay. So this is 68. Okay. Now we can solve it. So according to this, I'll write the cosine rule. So that calls for AM square equals AC square times, oh sorry, plus MC square minus 2 AC times MC cos AM. Sorry, cos once ACM. Okay, one moment. Yeah. So we can write it this way. AM equals, so I'll write the values directly because space is too less. So I will write 12.8 whole squared plus 15 whole squared minus 2 times 12.8, and then you have 15. One moment. Then this one will be cos 68. Okay, and now, so we just directly substitute everything in the calculator, so we get 15.652. So that will be equal to 15.7 centimeter. I hope this is clear. 15.7 centimeter. Yeah, correct. Yeah. Next, calculate the shortest distance from A to BC. From A to BC. Okay. So if you looked at this A to BC, shortest distance is always the perpendicular length, right? So we have to find this length. Let me mark this as x. So if you look here, we know this length, we know this, so we can find this one easily. This is your hypotenuse and this is the angle, and we have to find this. So this will be sine ratio. Yeah, sine 68. Yeah, we can do that. Huh. So sine 68 degrees equals AX upon 15 we can write, and then AX equals 15 times sine 68. So AX will be 13.9. Okay, I hope this is clear. Hmm. So 13.9. Now find 3 times q. When p is 8 minus 5, q is minus 4, 5. So 3 times q will be 3 minus 4 and 5. That will give you minus 12 and 5. So we can write, sorry, 15. I have to multiply here also. So minus 12 and 15. Now p minus q. So this is 8 minus 5 minus, you have minus 4 and 5. So this will, 8 minus minus 4 will give you 12, minus 5 will give you minus 10. So you have 12 and minus 10. Next, find mod of p minus q. Mod of p minus q. So you remember, mod of anything is x square plus y square, right? So what is p minus q? By the way, it is 12 minus 10. So mod of p minus q will be under root 12 squared plus uh, this minus 10 squared, that will give you root 244, and hence you get 15.6. Okay, now let's move to the next question. Now, okay, this is vectors. Huh. In triangle OMN, O is the origin. Okay, O is the origin. OM is A, ON is B. S is a point on MN. S is a point on MN, such that MS is to SN is 5 is to 3. Find in terms of A and or B the position vector OS. So you must understand, when it calls for position vector, it is nothing but from the origin. So this is OX. Give your answer in its simplest form. So, okay, let's see here. OS. How can we find O to S? O to S. Okay. Mm-hmm. So O to S we can do in two ways. We do like this: O to M, M to S, or O to N, N to S. I will go with I will go with O to M and M to S. Okay. Now, so O to M we know already, that is A, and then we don't know MS. Okay, so this we need to calculate. So let's see M to S. M to S is M to O. This is M to O plus O to N, and then it is N to S. Okay, so M to O you will get as minus A, O to N will be plus B, and N to S. Okay, so again this is also missing. So I should calculate this N to S. Okay, so for N to S, we must know what is M to N, because NS is N to S. See, NS is uh, total parts is 8, so it is 3 upon 8 of MS. So we will figure it out. What is MS now? MS will be mm, minus A. MS we cannot. We have to do MN. Yeah, I did a mistake here. Yes. This is MN. Okay. So it will be minus A plus B. Okay. Then, okay, once we know MN, we can also find the value of MS actually. So this one will be NS. We can write this as, this one will be MS. I am writing correct. So MS is, why I'm doing this much? MS is fifth part of 5 upon 8 of MN. That also we can write, right? No need of writing this. Okay. Hmm. So I can do this directly as, one moment. MS I can write as 5 upon 8 part of MN. Okay, and MN I can write, let me erase all these confusing things. Okay. Hmm. Now, hmm. So mn is 5 upon 8 part of mn. Mn is minus a plus b. So it will be minus a plus b. Okay. So we got this. So we can write now OS equals OM plus MS. And OM. OM is A plus 5 over 8, like minus a plus b. I will write this as b minus a, it's fine. And then you have a plus 5 over 8 b minus 5 over 8 a. Okay. Now, okay, we can solve it further. Hmm. So you get here 3 over 8a plus 5 over 8b. Okay, so I can write this here. Now this is 3 over 8a plus 5 over 8b. So this is the final answer. Let's go to the next question. Hmm. On the axis, sketch the graph y is equal to 4 minus 3x. I guess this is one of the most easiest thing they have asked you. So let's do the table. We need just 2 to 3 values that will be sufficient to plot this graph x y. So since this is very simple, I will go with this 0 1 2. So when x is 0, so when x is 0, 3 into 0, so you get y as 4. When x is 1, you get y also as 1. And when x is 2, you get y as minus 2. So let's plot it here. Okay, 1 2 3 4. 1 2 3 4. And we plot here 1 2 3 minus 1 minus 2 minus 3. Let me write minus 1 minus 2 minus 3. 1 2 3, and then here you have minus 1 minus 2 minus 3. Okay, now let's plot this. So for x is 0, y is 4. So this is the point. X is 1, y is 1. X is 2, y is minus 2. Please use your scales to join them. Now I will join this line. This is obviously a straight line, but I don't think so. It will, I can draw it properly, perfectly. Okay. So this has to be a straight line actually. Yeah, one moment. Hmm. Then don't forget to name the graph y is equal to 4 minus 3x. I hope this is clear to everyone. Okay, now this is on the axis, sketch the graph y is equal to minus x square. Actually, this is general. You know already, right? Y is equal to x square, how it will look like. This is the basic graph. It will be like this. So, y is equal to minus x square. It will be like this. Okay, that's it. You don't have to do much. And then, or if you wish, you can plot it with a marking if you want. Okay, I can show you that. Okay, so since this is quadratic, so you may need 4 5 values to get that shape, parabola. Let me write here. So 0 1 minus 1, I will take 2 and minus 2. And then what is your equation? Y is equal to minus x square. So you definitely you get 0 here, and here you get minus 1. Here also you get minus 1. Here you get minus 4, and here you get minus 4. So what you can do is you can plot these values here, and then you can join. So it is 1 2, and here minus 1 minus 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4. So 1 and minus 1, 1 and minus 1 here. Okay, I'll do with another color. So that is this thing, and then minus 1 and minus 1, that is here. See, 0 and 0 is here, and then 2 and minus 4, that falls here, and then minus 2 and minus 4, that falls here. Okay, now you can join them. Yeah. Okay, so this is done. One sec. You have to draw a perfect smooth curve. Okay, it should not be pointed or straight line anywhere. Next, find the coordinates of the turning points of the graph y is equal to 10 plus 9x square minus 2x cube. You must show all your working, and this is for 5 marks. Okay, so as it is asking for the coordinate of turning points, so means xy pair you have to find. And what is turning point? Okay, so I hope you all remember, it is nothing but the stationary point where at the turning point our gradient is 0. Okay, so gradient is equal to 0. And then how to find the gradient now? Your gradient is nothing but the first derivative of y. So you will differentiate it, dy over dx, that gives you 18x minus 6x square. Okay, now since this is turning point, gradient is 0, so I will write it as 18x minus 6x square, and that gives 0. Take out the common term, 6x, and hence you have 3 minus x, that equals to 0, and then 6x is 0, so 1x you will get as 0, and 3 minus x equals 0 will give you x equals 3. Okay, so we got our x coordinates, x is 0 and x is 3, x is 0 and x is 3. Now with the help of these two you can find y coordinates. So when x is 0, y equals 10 plus 9x square minus 2x cube. So it will be y equals 10 plus 9 times 0 is 0, and this is also 0. So you get y is equal to 10. Okay. So, hmm. So we can mention here y as 10, and then when your x is 3, then y equals 10 plus 9 times 3 squared minus 2 times 3 cubed. Okay, so this will be 10 plus 981 minus 54, and that will give you 91 minus 54, that will give you 37. So we write here, so these are your coordinates of the turning point. I hope you find it easier. Yeah, this is general question. Hmm. Next, determine whether each turning point is a maximum or minimum. So show how you decide. Okay, so I hope you remember there is a condition, that second derivative. So d square y upon dx square, if it is less than 0, then we call it maximum, and when your second derivative is greater than 0, we call it as minimum. Okay, now, so when we derived it, first derivative was 18x minus, I guess, 6x square. Yeah, it is minus 6x square. 18x minus 6x squared. Okay, now we find the second derivative, d square y upon dx square equals 18 minus 12x. Okay, now, so we have two values of x, one is 0 and one is 3. So for x is equal to 0, For x, for x is equal to 0, we get 18 minus 12 times 0, and that will be 18 only. And then for x is equal to 3, we will do, it will be 18 minus 12 times 3, that will be minus 18, right? Yeah, minus 36, and minus 36 plus 18 is minus 18. So this is less than 0, so this is your maxima, and this is greater than 0, so we call this as minima. Okay, so uh, at at 0 10, it is minimum, and at 337, this is maximum. Okay, yeah. Let's go to the next question. Hmm. Now, Zena and Kamal each invest $8,000. At the end of 12 years, they each have $12,800. Zena invest in an account that pays simple interest at a rate of R% per year. Calculate the value of R. Okay, so when she is investing at the simple interest, so you know that your principal here is 8,000, time is 12 years, and the amount you have is 12,800. Okay, and you have to find R. So your simple interest will be, since amount that will be amount minus principal, that will be 12,800 minus 8,000, and that will give you 4,800, right? And now, so your interest is 4,800. So you know that simple interest is PRT over 100. So we substitute it here. 4,800 equals P is 8,000, rate is 12, and oh, we have to figure it out. No, rate. The time is 12. Yeah. So rate, time is 12, and we have to figure it out the rate, and then over 100. Okay, so now we can solve it. So this will be, I can write it directly. R equals 4,800 over 80 times 12. Okay, so you get it as 5%. Okay, so your rate is 5%. Now, the next question is, Kamal invests in an account that pays compound interest at a rate of R% per year. Calculate the value of R. Now, here you have compound interest. So, what is the formula for compound interest? The value of investment is P times 1 plus R over 100 to the power of N or D, that represents time. Okay, so you know this, already we know that. Value of investment was, final value was 12,800 after 12 years. Okay, so 12,800, principal is 8,000, and then we have 1 plus, okay, so this is represented by capital R. Let me write that. Hmm. So you have R over 100 to the power of n. Now we can solve it. So it will be 12,800 over 8,000 equals 1 plus R over 100 to the power of n. Okay. Now you can write this as So we are looking for r. So time though we have already. Time is 12 now. I can write it here. I simply am writing n. So I can replace 12. Okay. Now you will. We have to remove this. So we write here 12th root of 12,800 over 8,000, that is equal to 1 plus r over 100. Okay, now we can solve it further, and then I'll write it this way: r over 100 equals 12th root of 12,800 over 8,000 minus 1. Okay, so just input in your calculator, and then you will get r equals, you do it like this: 100 times 12th root of 12,800 upon 8,000 minus 1. Put everything in the calculator and you will get 3.99. So your rate is 3.99%. Okay, I hope this is clear. Hmm. Next, the population of a city is growing exponentially at a rate of 1.8% per year. The population now is 260,000. Find the number of complete years from now when the population will first be more than 300,000. Okay, so it is growing exponentially and the rate is 1.8%. Okay, so growing exponentially. Okay, so the current, now the population is 260,000 and we have to look for when it will be more than 300,000. Okay, so we will write it this way: 300,000, and then this has to be greater than 260,000, and then 1 plus 1.8 over 100, and we have to find the time. Okay, so this is actually all about trial and error method, and what you can do is just directly go some value more than 5 6 like that for t. So I will put like this: t, I will put value of t as 8. So okay, I'll get it as, when t is 8, I'll get 299,885.57. Okay, so this is still not greater than this, so we have to get greater than this, so this side value. So I will change this value of 8 to t to 9, and then I will get 305283.5. Okay, now see, this value is greater than 300,000. So this was trial and error method. We can use log, but you have not studied log, so we have to go with the trial and error method, and hence our answer is 9 years. I hope this is clear. Hmm. Next, okay. The table shows some values for y equals 2x cube plus 6x square minus 2.5. So this directly you put this value for x is minus 3 in your calculator, you will get here minus 2.5, and then here you will get minus 1.25, and here you will get 5.5. Okay, now, so we did completing the table. Now, okay, now it says on the grid, draw the graph of 2x cube plus 6x square minus 2.5 for my x is greater than equal to minus 3 and less than equal to minus 1. So we have same greater than equal to minus 3 and less than equal to minus 1, 1. So we can pick all the values from here. Yeah, directly. Hmm. Now it is, when x is minus 3, y is minus 2.5. Okay, so y is minus 2 point, when x is minus 3, y is minus 2.5. So minus 2.5, this is okay. So this will be here. Okay, and then let's see the values. When x is minus 2.5, y is 3.75. Minus 2.5 minus 2.5, y is 3.75, I guess it is, yeah, 3.75. So 3.75, where we will get okay. mm, when x is minus 2.5, then it is minus 3.75. 3.75. Okay, this is your 5 on 2, so this line. Okay, yeah. So here I go, and this one, this one. So I will just make a circle here so that I don't forget. Hmm. And then we have x is minus 2 and y is 5.5. Minus 2 and y is 5.5 here. Then x is minus 1.5, y is 4.25. 4.25 is here. And then x is minus 1, y is 1.5. X is minus 1, this is the line for minus 1, so this is your 1.5. Then x is minus zero point 0.5, y is minus 1.25. This is the line. Okay, x is 0, and y is minus 2.5. X is 0, y is minus 2.5. Then x is zero point 0.5, y is minus 0.75. So x is zero point 0.5 here, y is minus 0.75, will be this point. Then it says x is 1, y is 5.5. So 5.5 is here. Now let's join them. Okay, so be careful. It has to be very smooth curve. Hmm? Okay, I'll try to do that. Now, okay, so this is done. Your graph is done. Now, let's look at the next part of this question. By drawing a suitable line on the graph, solve the equation 2x cubed plus 6x square equals 4.5. Okay. Okay, so this is not as same as the given equation over here. So it is 2 y is equal to 2x cubed plus 6x square minus 2.5. Okay, let me write this here. So y equals 2x cubed plus 6x square minus 2.5. Okay, now see, to plot this we have to see that this, okay, we need to convert this into y, making the y the subject. So how can I write this equation with respect to y? So let's see. Now we take this equation 2x cube plus 6x square. Okay, I'll bring 4.5 this side. So 2x cube plus 6x square minus 4.5 equals 0. Now look here, there is little difference. Here it is minus 2.5 and here we have minus 4.5. So if I make this as minus 2.5, so this both will be same. Okay, so let's do that. I will add 2 here. Okay, so 2x cube plus 6x square minus 4.5 plus 2 equals 0 plus 2. Okay, now this will be 2x cube plus 6x square minus 2.5 equals 2. Now you see this part has become equal to y. So I can write it now y equals 2. Okay, now I have to draw, I should draw this y equal 2 here in this. So where is y equals 2? So here is 2. So we will draw one line. Okay, so okay, so we can draw like this. Okay, now your question was, when we draw this straight line, we have to write the values of x. So what are the values of x? Now look here. This here is the value of x. Okay, so these are the points we need to write, and here is another value of x. Okay, so I can say that hmm, so we will write the value of x. Okay, so this will be zero point 0.8 minus 1.1, and it will be something minus 2.65. So I have drawn in the hard copy there where it is coming correct. So I will write those values here. So it is minus 2.65 x equals to, and x equals minus 1.1, and x equals zero point 0.8. Hmm. Now, now the equation 2x cube plus 6x square minus 2.5 is equal to k has exactly two solution. Okay, it should have exactly two solution. Write down the possible values of k. Okay, so we have to look the points where it will have only two solutions. Okay, so that I can see here. If we are here at this point. Okay, since this is not done so precisely, so there will be some difference in the hard copy and this one. So if you see that at this point and this point we have only two values. Okay, and then when you look here at, if you cross like this, okay, at this point you have two values. Below this if you go, it will be three values, because it is intersecting here, 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 and above this if you go, you are having three values. Okay, so here and here, so these are the points. I will say minus 2.5 and 5.5. Okay, now let's go to the next question. So g of f of 2. So for this we should find what is f of 2. So f of 2 will be, it is 1 over 2. Now we have to find g of f of 2. So what is g? It is 3x minus 5. So we will write it as 3 into, what is f of 2? It is 1 over 2. So in place of x you will write 1 over 2 minus 5. Okay, so your answer will be 3 over 2 minus 5, that will be minus 7 over 2, which is nothing but minus 3.5. Okay, now the next part is g inverse of x. Okay, so you have to write the inverse function. So g of x is 3x minus 5. So we can write this as y equals 3x minus 5, sorry, minus 5, and then swap x and y. So x equals 3y minus 5. Now make y the subject. So you will have x plus 5 over 3 equals y, which is nothing but g inverse of x equals x plus 5 over 3. Yeah. So write it here, x plus 5 over 3. Now the next part is find in its simplest form g of x minus 2. Okay, so g of x minus 2, when you have g of x as 3x minus 5, so in place of x we are writing x minus 2, so same thing we will do here, 3 times x minus 2 minus 5, that will give you 3x minus 6 minus 5 equals 3x minus 11. So your answer is 3x minus 11. Okay, find the value of x when f of g of x equals point 0.1. Okay, so f of g of x, did we find it anywhere? F of g of x? No. Okay, so your f of x is 1 over x, f of x is 1 over x, and g of x is 3x minus 5, and we have to solve this for f of g of x, that is equal to zero point 0.1. Okay, so it will be f of g of x. F of g of x will become 1 over 3x minus 5, and then it is equal to 0. So we write 1 over 3x minus 5. No, it is zero point 0.1 equal to zero point 0.1. That can be written as 1 over 3x minus 5, that is equal to 1 over 10. And then you can write this as 3x minus 5 equals 10, and 3x equals 15, x is equal to 5. Okay, so x is 5 here. Now the next question is h of x minus g of 7 equals 0. Okay, so what is h of x now? Your h of x is 2 to the power of x. H of x is 2 to the power of x, and g of x is 3x minus 5. Okay, 3x minus 5. Then, yeah, correct. 3 of x minus 5, correct. So we have to find h of x minus g of 7. So g of 7 will be 3 times 7 minus 5. So that is 21 minus 5, that will give you 16. So we can write it 2 to the power of x minus 16 equals 0, and 2 to the power of x equals 16. We can write this 16 as base 2. So 2 to the power of x will be equal to 2 to the power of 4. Hence x is equal to 4. I hope this is clear to everyone. Yeah. Now, question number 12. So this question is, the diagram shows a circle of radius 12 centimeter with a sector removed. Calculate the perimeter of the remaining shaded shape. Okay. So, So again, the shaded shape is nothing but a sector. So the perimeter will be circumference of sector plus this radius, and this radius also we should include, so it is 2 times radius. So what is the circumference of sector? You know that it is theta upon 360 2 pi r. Okay, so when this is 50 degree, then obviously this is 360 minus 50, that will be 310. Okay, so your theta is 310. So 310 over 360 times 2 times pi r, 12, plus 2 times r. So we know this is already 12. So you can write it. Okay, now you can input everything in the calculator. So you will get it as 88.9. Okay, so we get it as 88.9. Okay, let's move to the, I guess this is the last question. Yeah, now let's see this one. Now this question is, the diagram in part A shows the top of cylindrical cake with a slice removed. The volume of cake that remains is 3510 centimeter cube. Calculate the height of the cake. So let's see, a cylindrical cake with a slight remove the volume. Okay, calculate the height. Okay, so what is the volume of cylinder? Yeah, we have to write this here, volume of cylinder. So volume of cylinder is already given to us, that is 3510. Okay, so we can substitute this in the formula of volume of cylinder, that is pi r square h, that is 3510. Okay, then your question is to find the height. Okay, so we can do height equals 3510 upon r square, that is 12 squared times pi. So we can directly substitute this in our calculator and we can work on this. So this will be, so wait, so here you get 24.375, and then that is divided by pi. So 7.76. So we can write this as 7.8. So height will be 7.8. I hope this is clear. This paper was not that difficult except one question. Yeah. So if there is any doubt, any question regarding this, you can please mention in the comment box. Thank you.